During the weekend, Bitcoin showed a little bit of volatility, but I guess in this week, Bitcoin will see a lot of volatility as well. We have some very interesting news coming in about the tariffs, about Trump and China, and there's also a lot of interesting news about Trump today because El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele is visiting him today. There's also some news about the rate cuts of the FOMC in the next FOMC meeting. And of course, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what we can expect for Bitcoin in this week and what kind of interesting charts there are for Bitcoin. I also will have a look at the two altcoins, VeChain and Solana, but about that later in the video, so you want to watch this video all the way to the end to don't miss anything. So please slap up the like button because it will help this channel a lot. In the links in the description you can find my free Telegram group and also the link to my Twitter channel where I post a lot of daily updates about crypto and altcoins in general. And with that being said, now let's dive right into the charts. So zooming into the 50-minute time frame, we can see that Bitcoin opened the CME gap around the $83,791 here on Friday evening. And we can see that during the course of the weekend we saw a little bit of volatility. Bitcoin even came above the $86,000, but eventually later in the weekend we saw that Bitcoin came down and we're now closed the gap. So this is looking perfectly, and yeah, this gap is now closed. So let's see what we can do for the rest of the week. And I think it's always good to see a gap close because now Bitcoin can trade freely throughout the week. And I think a lot of volatility is coming, but I will talk about that later in the video. And the volatility during the weekend was all because Trump tariffs exemption of phones, laptops and chips covered Bitcoin -2. And of course this is very bullish for Bitcoin. And Trump was saying that he doesn't get to do tariffs on phones, laptops and chips from also from Asia, of course. So this is very bullish for the overall world market. And also China calls for the United States to completely cancel tariffs. So this would be very bullish if this happens, but I don't think Trump is going to do that. Only if China is also going to cut their tariffs to 0%. So this will be very bullish, but let's see what happens in this week. And let's see if the Trump tariffs are going to settle during the rest of the week. And zooming out to the 4-hour time frame, we can see this W pattern was unfolding very beautifully, just like I spoke about in my videos of last week. We saw this W pattern, we saw this double bottom, which indicated the bottom formation. Now we created a higher high after this high, and we also created a higher low. So this is looking very good because we shifted from this bearish downtrend and we're now into an uptrend. So we are creating higher lows and higher highs, which is very bullish. And we also broke this neckline resistance, which was the resistance on the 4-hour time frame. We created a new higher high, and now Bitcoin also created a higher low. So this looks like a new higher low after these two lows. So yeah, we can see that on the 4-hour time frame we are now in an uptrend. So let's see if we can continue the uptrend, because I'm always saying the trend is your friend until it ends, and for now we are inside of this bullish uptrend. So we are at $84,500. So let's see if we can reach the $85,000 today, and maybe we can even reach the $90,000 later this week. I have the feeling we can reach it this week, so let me know in the comments. Do you think we will reach $90,000 this week for Bitcoin? And today Trump will meet El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele, and I think they will 100% talk about Bitcoin. And Donald Trump even tweeted something on his own social platform, Truth Social. So he's looking forward to see President Bukele, and I think he will go. They will talk about Bitcoin, and of course this will be very bullish. And yeah, let's see what will happen in the rest of the week. And maybe they are coming out with some plans to buy more Bitcoin. So of course this will be very bullish. So yeah, Nayib Bukele is the Bitcoin president of the world, of course. And I think he will talk about Bitcoin with Donald Trump. And another very interesting chart is this 4-hour horizontal resistance pattern. We can see this horizontal level is coming into play, and in the past we can see a lot of price interactions around this level. And yeah, this level acts as resistance and support, and currently we are below this level, so this is currently acting as resistance. And of course Bitcoin is in this uptrend on the 4-hour time frame, as I just stated. So let's see if we can also break this horizontal resistance, create a new higher high, and from this break we could potentially see a bullish retest. And if we're going to break this resistance, I'm going to wait for the confirmation of the break, then I'm going to wait for a retest of this resistance as support, and from this bullish retest you can potentially enter the market in the long and then we can aim for a new higher high, and then we can aim for a higher place for Bitcoin. And of course, this would be very bullish if Bitcoin decides to break this horizontal resistance, because this is a huge horizontal level, just like we can see in the past with a lot of price interaction. So let's see if we can break it maybe today already. And zooming out to the daily time frame, we can see Bitcoin is finally breaking out of this huge formation, and this falling wedge formation has a lot of touch points on the top side as resistance, and on the low side we saw 3 touch points as support. The price of Bitcoin was getting squeezed into an apex, and Bitcoin always likes to break out before the apex is getting reached. So we're now seeing a beautiful break, and the break has been confirmed because we broke above this huge neckline resistance. So now let's wait for a little bit of a retest, and from this bullish retest, if this happens, you can enter the market potentially in the long and then aim for higher targets. And the top side of this formation is now the breakout target, and that will be confluent with the previous all-time high of around $180,000. So of course this could be very interesting to see, and if you're going to measure the price from the potential bullish retest to the previous all-time high, we could make a very interesting gain. And let's see how much this is going to be. That's going to be more than a 30% increase. So this could be a very interesting trade for Bitcoin. But of course, if you're going to trade this, always do your own due diligence, and always do your own research. And for instance, if you're going to enter the market here and this bullish retest, you always have to take profits on the way up. So that's how I trade. And if you want to learn more about my trading techniques, you can follow me on my Telegram channel, and you can find the link in the description under the video. And another very interesting thing to look at is the rate cut probabilities to see a rate cut later by the FOMC. And the next FOMC is in 23 days. And the chances are getting bigger and bigger that we're going to possibly see a rate cut. These chances were first at 0%, but currently we are already at the 22.6% that we're going to see a rate cut in 23 days. So yeah, this could be also having a very bullish effect on the markets. And I think in the rest of the year, we will see more rate cuts. And of course, this quantitative easing is very bullish for the markets, because it will pump a lot of more liquidity into the markets, and more liquidity into the markets mean bigger pumps. So more money is added to the markets, which will cause prices of assets to rise. So this, of course, will be very bullish, and this could also be the start of the next phase of the bull run for the markets, for Bitcoin, for altcoins, but also for stocks, of course. And the first altcoin I want to have a look at is VeChain. VeChain is currently on the daily time frame inside of this huge falling wedge formation, and it looks like we're about to break bullish. And I don't think this is a very interesting break yet, because we can also measure the falling wedge just like this, because on the top side we had a little bit more resistance. We have multiple touch points here as resistance, and on the lower side we saw multiple touch points as support. So VeChain needs to see a clear break, and then we can confirm the break to the top side. We can maybe wait for a retest, and then we can aim for higher targets. But for now, we are still inside of this falling wedge formation. But earlier, last year, we also saw this huge falling wedge formation was unfolding. And VeChain likes to break out of a falling wedge. And when it does, it spikes to the top side very quick. So last year, we saw a huge increase of more than 300%. So for instance, if VeChain can do the same 300% increase after a potential bullish retest, we are going to see prices above the 8 cents already. And of course, this will be very bullish for VeChain, and this could start the next phase of the bull run. So VeChain loves a good falling wedge formation, because after this huge price spike to the top side, we are seeing this huge this huge consolidation happening. So let's see if we can finally break out bullish and see more bullish price action for VeChain. And having a look at some other chart on the daily time frame, we can see that also VeChain is inside of this huge falling channel formation. We can see clear touch points at the resistance, and also clear touch points as support on the lower side. So if VeChain can potentially break to the top side, we are going to see this first big resistance coming into play, because in the past we can see a lot of price interaction around this level, and this would be the first big take profit place for me after I bought at these lower lows for VeChain. So this will be at the 4.5 cents for VeChain, and that of course will be very bullish. So from this point where we are now, this could already be an increase of more than 87%, which is also very insane, of course. So just like I said, if VeChain decides to break bullish, we have to wait for this resistance, and I think if we come back to this resistance, we will see a lot of price interaction. Of course, I think we will see a little bit of rejection first, but then it's on VeChain to show a lot of strength, and that we finally break bullish to the top side. So for now, we are inside of this bullish, inside of this bearish trend, So let's see if VeChain can shift this bearish trend into a big bullish uptrend. And let me know in the comments, do you hold VeChain in your portfolio, and what are your thoughts about VeChain in 2025? And the next altcoin I want to discuss is Solana. We can see Solana created a new all-time high, just like a lot of altcoins did earlier this year. And we created an all-time high around the $294, but now we are inside of this huge bearish trend, and we also fell below this huge important resistance on the daily time frame. So as we can see here in the past, we saw a lot of resistance and support coming into play, but currently we are breaking below this level, and it even looks like we are going to make a bearish retest. So this looks a little bit more bearish than bullish, because we're still in this bearish trend. We are creating lower lows and lower highs. So when Solana is going to break above this resistance again, and we're going to create new higher highs and higher lows, and we can shift this bearish downtrend into a bullish uptrend. So for now it's looking a little bit more bearish than bullish, and even when we look at the weekly time frame, we can also see this these all-time highs were a big resistance, but also we are now inside of this bearish trend on the weekly time frame as well. So this horizontal level has been broken to the downside, and we are now creating this bearish retest. So yeah, Solana is looking a little bit more bearish than bullish at the moment. But however, if we zoom into the daily time frame, we can also see this falling wedge was unfolding. We can see multiple touch points here on the top side as resistance, and also on the lower side multiple touch points as support. The price of Solana was getting squeezed into an apex, and we now can see a clear break of this formation. And let's see what we can do for the rest of the week. We could potentially see a retest of the previous resistance to test it as support, and then we can enter the market in the long and aim for higher targets. And the top side of the formation will be confluent with the breakout target for Solana, and that will be around the previous all-time high of $270. So this could be a very interesting trade to make. And for instance, if you're going to measure it from the bullish retest, we could already make a trade of more than 148%. So this is an insane trade to make, of course. So let me know in the comments, do you hold Solana in your portfolio? And do you think that Solana could see a huge bullish spike to the top side and create a new all-time high in 2025? So again, please like the video if you haven't already. It will help this channel a lot. With the links in the description, you can find my the free Telegram group. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I post a lot of updates about Bitcoin, crypto and other altcoins, and also about a lot of news in the market. So with that being said, I hope you have a good week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.